In this video, we will demonstrate how to remove and replace the executive board in a legacy RLS library. The first thing you want to do when removing the exec board is you want to go ahead and pull the library out of its rack. If the rails in your rack allow for the library to be pulled full out and still stay stationary, then that's fine. You don't have to remove it. If your rack is a little bit unstable, or if you're worried that the rails will bend if the library is pulled all the way out, you will want to go ahead and place the library on a flat surface on a table to go ahead and proceed with the work. The first thing you need to do is you need to first identify where the executive board is. And the executive board is underneath the top cover of the library. So what you're going to have to do is, once you get the library in a stable place, you want to go ahead and remove 4 screws here that keep the top cover down. For this demonstration, the screws have already been removed. Once those screws are removed, you can go ahead and lift the top cover of the library up. With the top cover of the library in the open position, you can see the executive port sits in this tray right here that's still attached to the top cover. So what you want to do, the first thing you want to do is go ahead and grab a screwdriver. It's a Phillips screwdriver. And you want to go ahead and remove these 2 screws which attaches the exec board to the tray. Once those 2 screws have been removed, you want to go ahead and lower the cover back down. And then you want to identify the 3 Phillips screws that attach the tray to the top cover. And you want to go ahead and remove those 3 screws. Now, once these 3 screws from the top cover are removed, when you go ahead and open up the top cover, you'll see that the tray is no longer attached to the top cover. You can see both the exec board and the IPM of the library. Now, to remove the exec board, you're going to go ahead and disconnect first this main cable here, and you're also going to want to disconnect the power cord here. Obviously you can tell that there is very little room in this library. The tolerances are very small, so you want to be really careful when pulling out the exec board. It's very easy when you're sliding it out for one of these capacitors here to either click on to this cable or to the power cord, and if you're not really paying attention, what ends up happening is you end up breaking off the capacitor, which is obviously something you don't want to do. So what I always do is, if you push the main serial cable here out of the way, and you can also take the power cord and kind of move this out of the way initially. And then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and lift the tray up manually. Make sure that it's in the lock position so it doesn't fall on you. Push the power cord out of the way, and then you reach in and you just slide the exec board. And like I said, make sure it doesn't touch anything. You just slide the exec board straight out of the library. You have now successfully removed the exec board from the library. Now, to reinstall the exec board into the library, you're basically going to do the reverse steps of what we did to remove it. So basically, you have your exec board here. You want to make sure that this connector here is going to be aligned properly. That is what's actually going to go in and attach to the IPM. So you want to make sure that you have your exec board positioned like this, with this connector here pointed towards the back of the library. So when you slide the exec board in, you want to go ahead and attach. There's two rails that the exec board should be aligned with. You want to go ahead and just make sure that it's aligned properly, and then you want to just go ahead and push it in. Now, once you push it in, you want to go ahead and put your hand on the back of the IPM and push the exec board all the way in. You should hear it kind of snap into place. That assures you that you've gotten a good connection to the IPM. Now, while the tray is in the upper position, what you want to do is go ahead and screw reapply the screws to the bottom of the tray to keep the exec board in place. Now what I always do is I always put the screws in a little bit loose initially. I don't tighten them down all the way, just to keep the board in place, and you can come back to it and tighten it later. So now with those two screws in place, you want to go ahead and lower the top cover. Now make sure when you're dropping this tray, don't just let it drop, because it is heavy and it can be pretty loud. Now you have the tray in the bottom position. You want to go ahead and push the top cover and lock it back into place. Now what you want to do is you want to go ahead and grab your power cord, and you want to just go ahead and grab that and just get it out of the way for now. You want to go ahead and attach your cable from your interconnect board first. So you go ahead and grab that cable, and then you just go ahead and reconnect the cable. Make sure it snaps into place, and then you could go ahead and then reattach the power cable. Once both the serial cable and the power cord cable are connected, you can go ahead and push the tray back up into the up position, and then go ahead and take your screwdriver and then tighten those bottom two screws. Now after you've tightened those bottom two screws, you want to go ahead and close the top, lower this tray first. Like I said, do it gently. And then you want to go ahead and close on the top cover. Then you want to go ahead and grab your 3 screws and go ahead and reattach the tray back to the top cover of the library. And then you want to go ahead and secure the top cover down to the library and apply these 4 screws to keep attach the top cover back to the library. And then you are done. You've completed the task of removing and replacing the executive board in a legacy RLS library.